now that was a D.Gray-Man chapter. Like, every time, I keep thinking, like, oh, when's that chapter gonna come out? I remember seeing, like, parts of this Raw, and I was like, oh, I can't fucking wait to see this, and then the whole chapter just comes out, and I'm just like, just fucking, just, mwah, just, that's what it is. Just like, after that bombshell that we had from like last couple of months, chapters ago, like we saw the whole thing about like what the truth is about the Millennium Earl and Alan, about, you know, Mana and it, and like, just all of that stuff. It's just like finding out more about that story. It's just absolutely great. And it's just like, I can't believe, like, when we go into this one, like, just how insane just the Millennium Earl is taking all of this. Like, he's there, like, peeling his fucking flesh away with his, like, fingers and all that, saying, like, oh, we're, like, saying, well, we're both Mana, don't you get it? Like, we're both the same thing, don't you see? I'm you and you and me. And he's just like, no, you know, I'm not Mana. He's, like, screaming, I'm not Mana. And he's, like, fucking letting it all out, just absolutely going nuts throughout the entirety of, like, the chat. And it's just, like, the two, like, just the way that, especially throughout the entirety of this thing, like, going through that, it's like, oh, cut to that, like, her, like, art is just like, oh, it's, you know, just lighthearted. Like, seeing how much the art has evolved throughout the years, and just seeing, like, how scary it looks now, like, especially seeing Alan going throughout that, or should I say the 14th, really, like, seeing him there, like, he just looks demonic. Like, Alan on this volume looks just, you know, like a happy little fucking, well, boy that's gone through some shit. He just looks like a monster. Like, I'm sure there's, like, that little art panel you can see, like, have a look at, like, the D.Gray-Man art evolution throughout the time, and just see how much he's changed. And it's, like, especially as the character itself, it's just, like, how much he's evolved throughout the entire series, where he's just, like, has just matured, and he's just like changed now into this completely just different kind of entity at this point. And it's just like seeing that, it's insane just to see that. And it's just like, honestly, like, you get to see like the Black Order as well. They're searching, they're close on his fucking tail, and they're like, yeah, we got the talismans fucking ready just in case they get through all this. And it's just like, they got to see him there, and I'm just like, wow, these motherfuckers are making sure very closely to keep an eye, like, after all this time, because I mean, we had, like, technically, I guess this is all still, you know, searching for the Alan Walker, like, arc that we're still in, like, going for all of this. So, you know, we're going for, I will say one thing I do like about that, ever since she has come back and all that, since she knows that, you know, we do a chapter every now and then, I think she's really increased the pace. I think if she was, like, still doing monthly, we would still kind of go and, like, still pace through this. But it's like, definitely I can see, like, the manga's really going through this, like, really well. Like, she's noted that, you know, I'm only going to get a chapter, like, every 4 chapters a year and all that. So I know definitely that I have to cut, when I'm coming back, I've got to give people stuff that they're interested in. Like, I will admit, yeah, it's about, like, what, 40, 50 pages. That's, like, the only thing I can complain about this chapter. But other than that, everything was just fucking perfect. Just seeing, like, the whole, like, to see that this entire chapter literally revolved around, like, Alan and the Millennium Earl just, like, talking this out, and it's some of the most interesting stuff. Like, when you see, like, the Millennium Earl just deep within his mind, just there, like, questioning stuff, and, like, ripping his flesh off, and, like, you know, like, blowing his face off and all that, and just, like digging his nails into, like, the glass and all that, and just cutting himself even more and more. It's just, like, this is fucking perfect way of writing. Like, I absolutely adore her writing, like, throughout this entire return. It's just been nothing but bombshells and crazy, and it's just, like, a lot of series just don't do well at. It's like, it's just engaging on this stuff. It's just so interesting, like, especially, like, I feel like I wish, like, a lot more mangas, like, which some of them do and all that, but I wish, like, kind of newer ones would take, like, tips from, like, some of the older ones, like this. Like, this is how you engage people into a story. It's like, you really make things interesting. Like, you make sure, like, even if, like, the stuff they don't find too much is like, oh, it's sort of the same stuff they're going on about, but it's just the way that you physically show their emotions throughout, and the way, like, how, like fucking the Earl is breaking down. Like, he is generally just, like, fucking going insane, just seeing this shit, just hearing all this, and he's just, like, trying to hide away. And it's like, literally, when you saw him, like, trying to transform back into, like, the fat Earl and everything, like, into that, the fucking Black Order just comes out of nowhere, just grabs out, and I'm like, yeah, they really, really want to make sure that he isn't, like, they want to capture that. So I'm very curious to see exactly now, because I was like, every time when D.Gray-Man ends, I'm like, fuck, I want to see more. I want to see more. Stop playing with me like that. I'm sure of what exactly the story, you know, everything that's going to go down. Like, honestly, this was a great ass fucking chapter. Like, the best way, like, honestly, I can't describe so much about it, because I feel like this is something more that people just need to read instead of like me describe, like, because that's the thing, I ain't gonna get everything in that chapter, but I feel like you would understand more about what my word, or I'm trying to say to you guys right now, the words that are trying to come out of my mouth, you would understand this chapter more if you read it and you really got a full picture of yourself, because it's just definitely these past 2 chapters of like D.Gray-Man's return has just been absolutely fantastic, and it's just an absolute treat that to see, you know, one of my favorites back in the day, one of the old things, like one of the first few animes that I ever watched, or like the ongoing stuff that was like, it was D.Gray-Man, like, apart from like seeing stuff like FMA and all that, this was literally like one of the first shows I watched when I first got into anime, and I'm like crazy to see from that day to now, and it's just like, you know, just going from D.Gray-Man, and that's just that is the words exactly I wrote it. It's fucking awesome. No deep words or anything like that, just awesome. And I just cannot wait to see what next chapter of D.Gray-Man. I really wish it was monthly again. I really wish it was, but I mean, if we're going to get 40 pages every now and then, it's like, I'd rather have that than like a Blue Exorcist 12 pages a month or something like that, like just out of nowhere, and sometimes the art could turn into shit. Like, every fucking panel of this looks great, just fantastic, like, so I cannot wait. Honestly, I give this like a, I think the last chapter was better than this one because it was more expanding on that, but it was still fantastic. It was just great. That's, I know I'm overusing that word fantastic a lot in this review, but that's just how it was. Like 9.5. I'd like to give this one just a 9.5. Just a great like chapter in overall. Cannot wait to see like just the deepness of it was. It was just there. It was just, everything was there. So let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this one. But that's all from me. So thank you much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.